after we start the meeting, the host will be introducing Carolina, and then you start the. We will invite you to start and share the screen. Is that clear? Okay. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning, Jasim, sir.
Jasim sir, namaskar.
No, he's still connecting. His audio is not online yet.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Nice plenum. Got it. I was just with developer ready till now talking to him.
Good morning, Jason.
Okay. Yeah. I think Jayashree ma'am also should be joining soon.
Good morning, Jasim sir.
Good morning, sir. Oh, nice to see you.
Now it is live, no?
Yes, yes. How is the weather?
Oh, it's very hot here. Nagpur is
Really?
hot.
Nagpur is hot. We have got some very good rains in the last 2 days.
Yes.
It's really flooding Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
It seems, sir.
Nagpur it is now touching 39, 40 degrees.
My gosh. And we thought it was hot at 33 degrees and 29.
Do you want to continue? Shall I play the intro slide, or we can continue with our discussion? I think that's better.
I think time is. I think so. We should start, no, Hemant?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you, Jasim, sir?
Good morning. All fine. Take care.
Nice to see you again, sir.
I'm having a little fun. That's all.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, just before you start, I will informally introduce Carolina. Carolina, hello.
Yeah.
We have architect Jasim here. Architect Jasim, you can say sir, hi.
Hello.
She speaks only Spanish. Yeah, that is Jasim sir. This is Mr. Ranganathan. He is the secretary, Bamboo Society of India. Rangnath. Yeah.
Hello.
And we have Professor Uday Gadkari, architect Professor Uday Gadkari. He is the ex-president, Council of Architecture. Uday sir.
Yeah, namaskar, namaskar.
You can, hello.
Hello, namaskar.
Yeah, okay.
Hello,
And this is architect Hemang. Yeah, this is architect Hemang, who is your co-speaker. He is also working in Bamboo in India, and he is from our working group of architecture, design, and civil engineering. So we have these people from this thing, and we have some more people. Our council director also joining, Council of Architecture, Training and Research Cell. She's also joining, and this is live on YouTube. I will send you the link. You can put it on your YouTube thing. So just wanted to share these things before we start. Okay. Yeah, I think Rangnath, you can go ahead. Should we wait for Jayashree? I will give a call to Jayashree ma'am again. By the time Rangnath can start the thing, right?
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm so sorry I couldn't get in the connection. I just arrived. I'm so pleased to meet all of you, and thank you for your patience. Well, my aim is to help Carolina by translating to you all her presentation. So I think I just presented me, and I will let go Carolina on. Okay, Carolina.
Yeah, just one. I think Rangnath, you start the meeting, so then she will be able to. No.
So, good
Yeah,
morning.
Rangnath.
Good morning, everyone, and good evening to some people who are connecting remotely from other parts of the world. My name is Ranganath Krishnan. I'm the Secretary and Treasurer at Bamboo Society of India. On behalf of entire BSI, I would like to welcome you all to the 37th series of our webinars aimed at improving bamboo knowledge across the domain. And today's session is about rethinking bamboo through design, subheading architecture. And to take the session forward, I would like to invite Architect Hemang Ji.
Carolina, ¿tú entendiste lo que el señor dijo en la presentación? Él se presentó. ¿Sí me estás escuchando, Carolina?
Sí, estoy escuchando y sí entendí quién es y que trabaja en diseño y todo esto.
Ok, perfecto.
Mucho gusto
Entonces,
y pues, continuemos, ¿no?
Sí,
Neelam,
okay.
are you going to introduce Hemang Ji?
Hemang, can you introduce her?
Just-
Uday sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Today
Please
that
introduce.
today
Yes.
it is my job to introduce Carolina and the other speaker Hemang, because Hemang himself is a speaker today.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, and so I am in the capacity of the host as well as the anchor of the program.
Please, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
At the outset, I welcome you all. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day because we are meeting again and again, and this is our fourth meet under this particular banner. See, we are Bamboo Society of India, which is a 1989 organization, born organization, and it is spreading very fast. We have now almost 2,000 members across the country and the world, and we are doing so many activities under its banner. That is why the headquarters in Bangalore has organized have split that into 5 sections, 5 groups. For example, the plantation and the cultivation group, then the government schemes and projects about that, keeping a tab and keeping abreast the knowledge of all the rules, regulations, provisions, scheme, financial schemes, etc. Then we have this ADCE, our team, that is architecture, design, and civil engineering. Under that particular thing, we have been conducting webinars for the last more than 1 year now, and this is the fourth of its kind. The first one was in the month of January, probably it was 15th of January, when we had rethinking bamboo through culture and through design. This was the first theme for architecture we chosen on 15th of January of this year. Then 19th Feb it was engineering design. How will it be rethought in shaping the culture of the culture? The third one was on 19th of March last month, and this is the fourth now. Again, it is a turn of architecture stream once again, and today that is why we are here with this particular theme and having the experts. Today we have 2 experts with us, but before that let me also mention here that Ranganath Krishnan, who spoke to you just 2 minutes earlier, he is our secretary of the BSI and he is a treasurer, and he's an agripreneur. He is probably one of the persons leading the revolution through contract farming in India, particularly in the bamboo sector. And he is our secretary. We welcome him in this particular meeting. We have Neelam Manjunath, architect Neelam Manjunath, who needs no introduction by now, because we know that she is a lady who has made up her own mark, and she is known across the world in many countries also through her works in the bamboo architecture. She is what not? She is a architect, she's a planner, she's a designer, she's an activist, she's a researcher, and she has published so many projects. Her projects have been published over in 20 countries across the world. She has written more than 75 papers, technical papers in many international and national journals. She has published many books. She has done so many projects that she is today known as a lady who is the crusader and who is leading the country into this particular bamboo architecture today. We have Manjunath ma'am here. Before I introduce Carolina and Hema, I would request Manjunath madam to give the opening remarks about this particular webinar. Manjunath ma'am.
Thank you so much. And a very warm welcome. Thank you, Gadkar sir, for this a very elaborate, I think, unnecessary introduction. I think we will move forward. We have already, as sir has spoken, this is about introducing bamboo in our culture, because bamboo has been in our culture for several centuries actually. And post industrialization, this scenario changed, and bamboo started being called the poor man's timber. And now after this, which has led us to the path of global warming and all the situations that we have had. And so now after this situation, every scientist, people across the world, they are looking for alternatives, because we have to keep the development going. And we need a building material which does not leave the destruction and this thing on this planet Earth. And in that scenario, bamboo and mud are two building materials which actually come as a very promising, and hemp, and of course the man-made material that we have is called waste. So in all this, when we talk about resource efficiency of a material, bamboo comes at the top, almost like close to hemp. And even with mud and all that, it is a very long cycle, but bamboo actually grows very fast, so it is very resource efficient as a building material. And it also has been being used as a mainstream building material in the past. That gives bamboo a lot of advantage in that case. And building sector, I think it is a well-known thing that we are the biggest polluters. And any country today also in the world, when they say this country is developed, they think about how much concrete is being poured in by that country, and because that is the measure of development, which is a very sad situation to be. So our small group of bamboo lovers from across the world, we all are working towards it, and we want to spread the word to all other people about this wonder material. For this, design thinking is something which is very important, which actually can give a lot of impetus, and also the traction the bamboo sector requires, because there's a lot of promise, but we this sector is quite lacking behind, and still a lot of research is required. And that is why through Bamboo Society of India, we have been working to take this wonderful material forward. And before I hand over the mic once again to Gadkari sir, I really thank Carolina and Hemang for being the speaker today. And they both are from two different ends. Carolina is from Bogota, Colombia. And I have been following her work for quite some time, in fact, because of its simplicity, which really resonates with what I think bamboo should be doing, and bamboo for the masses, and the way she has been working. And very consistently, I've been seeing her work. She's not really probably so well known across the world, but I have seen her work, and let me tell you, Carolina, I really find it absolutely amazing. So welcome to the today's webinar. And Hemang is a very gusty young architect, and I think he has a very promising architect for the bamboo industry. And so I have been seeing his work. He has been sharing with us, and the way he's taking it forward with lot of enthusiasm, I'm very sure he'll be leading the bamboo sector very soon. And we need people like you, Hemang, here to take things forward from us. The baton from us has to be taken forward by the young people. So welcome to the webinar.
Thank you.
Over to you, Gadkari sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Before we go for the first speaker. It is my duty, a very, very privileged duty, to introduce the speakers of the morning. Morning for us, but probably late evening for Carolina. Carolina Zuluaga is the name of this speaker today. She is an architect designer. She holds a degree in architecture from the Universidad Piloto de Colombia. She's a Colombian architect, graduated in 1993. She has been a teacher architect for many years, and not only teaching, but she has emerged as one of the pedagogists of her nation. She is a pedagogist and putting architecture and education of architecture, particularly bamboo architecture, to the pedagogy. And that is a good very good, great contribution she has been doing. She is also a master's of environmental management. Uh, though looks young, but then Carolina is the founder and co-founder of many bamboo-related organizations. She is the creator of International Bamboo Network, Bamboo Cultura. She has been taking initiative, bringing people, networking them, and carrying out the activities in the promotion of the bamboo. She has a long teaching experience since 1997 till date. She has been a teacher. She has been a researcher, and she has been carrying out interdisciplinary researches. Uh, she is a designer and constructor of bamboo architecture since 1993 till date, and designed many buildings. They are the single and multi-family units, offices, tourism facilities, then interior design projects, as well as remodeling projects, etc. She has been doing. So we are very fortunate to have this speaker today, and I would urge all my fellow participants who are there attending this program to give a patient ear to this lady and listen to her ideas, philosophies about bamboo. May I now request Carolina to start her presentation and share this. Thank you, Carolina.
Muchas gracias por la invitación, muchas gracias por la presentación también. Es un gran honor estar acá para mostrar un poco de lo que desarrollo aquí en Colombia. Entonces, pues voy a empezar compartiendo pantalla para iniciar la presentación, si están de acuerdo. No sé. Vicky. Si está conectada, por favor, ayúdenme.
We can hear you, Vicky. You can speak. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Sí.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Vicky.
yes.
Yes. So sorry. Well, Carolina has thanked everybody for assisting to this important meeting and for being your guest. She has appreciated very much your introduction and presentations, and she will be starting her presentation by sharing her screen with some works she would like to share with you. Carolina, ¿puedes compartir ya la presentación?
Sí, ya voy a compartir entonces.
She will be sharing her screen.
Sí, no me está compartiendo. Creo que no se ve.
No, okay.
Ya, por favor, no.
Okay. We can share the screen. Can we please some the host can give the permission for share the screen.
I think
They're
you are
asking
the
for
host, so you are a co-host, so you should be able to share.
Dice que ustedes son co-hosts que tendrían que normalmente poderla compartir.
Yeah. Please start sharing your presentation. Yeah.
Bueno, pues quise traer uno de los diseños que hacemos con los elementos que sobran de las construcciones. Esto que ustedes ven en la pantalla es parte de un entretejido compuesto por latas de guadua y canutos de bambú.
Pero Carolina, estamos viendo es una casa.
No, aquí está, nos están viendo un círculo y el título de Reinventar el bambú en nuestra cultura a través del diseño.
En este momento yo lo que estoy viendo es una casa, no estoy viendo el círculo.
Bueno, pues entonces
Ok.
aquí ya empezamos entonces con la casa. No sé por qué no se vería lo otro, pero bueno.
Carolina, if you can share your presentation, it seems that the
Are you, sorry to interrupt, what is the image you're getting right now? An image where there is a house with a swimming pool in front?
Yes.
Yes. See, yes.
But the whole screen is not there. Full screen.
can you
screen,
share
make it
the
full
presentation slide? It seems the folder is been shared. Victoria, if you can just communicate.
Sorry?
The presentation is to be shared and it seems that the folder is shared.
Dice que tienes que compartir la presentación, pero no, porque no les llega. Lo que se está viendo es la casa donde estuvimos que tiene la piscina al frente, pero la presentación no.
Estoy presentando, o sea, ya tengo la pantalla compartida.
Sí, pero yo lo que estamos viendo tú me dices que estás viendo un entretejido, lo que hay es una casa.
Ya voy a volver a presentar. A ver si es eso, pero ahí
ya está.
Good.
So can you see right now the full picture and the presentation? Okay, so that's the start of her presentation where she is informing us the subject. That's reinventing the bamboo in our culture through the design. So, puedes ir con la otra imagen, Carolina. So, right now, the second image is in the house, a tourist destination that they built the whole complex here in Colombia. It's a 15 hectares complex. This is one of the houses for tourism applications, and it's she's communicating that architecture is ecologic, bioclimatic, and sustainable, and that's one of the features of bamboo or guadua. Guadua is the Indian native name of this material. Colombian Indians, natives, gave to this material this name, guadua. So for the rest of the world, it's known as bamboo, but in Colombia and Ecuador and in Venezuela, the name is guadua. Carolina.
Bueno, quisiera leer una frase de Álvaro Aalto que yo pues tengo muy en cuenta al desarrollar mis proyectos. Dice: la arquitectura apropiada no solo busca la sustentabilidad ecológica, sino también económica y cultural. Es algo que para mí es muy, muy importante en todos los proyectos que yo desarrollo.
well, she's communicating that Alvar Aalto says in this phrase that appropriate architecture not only looks for ecologic sustainability, but as well for economy and culture. And that's something that she always keeps in mind when she's working or starting, whenever she's starting any project or design. Carolina.
Bueno, ahí están viendo la otra presentación, ¿verdad? La otra
Sí.
diapositiva.
Ya,
Bueno,
la nueva.
a veces la arquitectura contemporánea busca ser insistente en responder a moda, a estética, a muchos elementos que para mí no son lo más importante, sin decir que sean primordiales. Pero lo más importante es que sea una arquitectura holística en donde se tengan en cuenta también asoleación, iluminación, ventilación y el uso adecuado principalmente de los materiales. Por eso en mis obras yo escogí como material protagónico el bambú y principalmente bambú guado.
Okay. Sometimes architecture, contemporary architecture looks with very important insistence to respond to mode or to fashion or to aesthetic patterns, leaving aside concepts more subtle and logics in order to conceive an space. Sometimes issues such as lighting, illumination, ventilation, and the adequate use of materials is not given the importance it should have. Carolina.
En 1980 surge el concepto de desarrollo sostenible que imagino todos conocen. Y para este entonces era importante tener en cuenta el ciclo de vida de los materiales, el desarrollo de esos materiales y la reducción de las cantidades de materiales y energía que se utilizaran para desarrollar los diferentes proyectos constructivos. Y es por esto que también me llama la atención el uso del bambú. Y lo mostraré en las diapositivas siguientes.
Well, in 1980s, arises the new concept of sustainable development based in three principles, in three main issues, which are the analysis of the cycle of life of raw materials, the development in use of raw materials and sustainable energies, the reductions of the quantities of materials and the energy used in the extractions of natural resources, its exploitation, and the destruction or the recycling of all the residuals. This has been gaining much more importance, and this is why Carolina, she is trying to develop a new concept with having all these ideas in her work. Carolina.
Para mí la cultura de la guadua es un patrimonio que está vivo entre nosotros. Conserva gran parte de la sabiduría de los antepasados. Y no se trata de repetir la construcción del pasado, sino de reinterpretar todo lo que nuestras personas anteriores a nosotros hicieron para generar y crear arquitectura más respetuosa con necesidades actuales y con diseños también actuales.
So Guadua culture, it's a heritage which is alive in our society. It conserves a great part of our ancestors' culture, and it's not about repeating the constructions made in the past. It's about the respect and the reinterpretation we can have of these materials and their constructions. It's about understanding and learning the way these ancient constructors made it possible to resolve the problems of adaptation to nature in each and every region of our country and continent, because this was used by our natives, by our Indians, by our ancestors. So starting with all this background and all this knowledge, sometimes forgotten or kept aside, it's important to create an architecture more respectful with our environment and with our inhabitants. Carolina.
Usamos la guadua como elemento protagónico porque no es un beneficio unipersonal, es un beneficio social. También porque cada vez que conocemos más el bambú, queremos aplicarlo y poder profundizar y crear nuevas cosas.
So we use guadua as an element, as a protagonic element, not as a unipersonal benefit. It's a global benefit for the society. Guadua is like a labyrinth because it's hidden and it is complex, but it provides lots of opportunities every time someone studies each and every part of the material. Then it's a new initiation of a new path or a new way, a pathway to discover all the advantages of this material that are to be taken part of it. ¿Aló, Carolina?
Cuando hablo de reinterpretar arquitectura, me refiero, aquí localizado, pues traído algunas fotos de proyectos anteriores en donde la gente utilizaba la arquitectura vernácula, las construcciones vernáculas, y a partir de eso es que empecé a crear nuevos diseños.
So when she talks about reinterpretation of our ancient technology, it's about using their techniques and the way they conceive the use of the guadua for their structures and their projects. So having and keeping in mind all the knowledge and the techniques they had to create their houses and all the sites they live in, it's an complete study they've made in order to propose new ways of doing it. Carolina.
Quiere decir que en los edificios, en los proyectos que desarrollamos, para nosotros es importante generar espacios abiertos y saludables, tener un control de la temperatura de manera natural, hacer muy eficiente el uso de energía y agua, y tener una alta medición y espacios interiores confortables.
So it means that in all their projects and in all their works, it is very important to have big and open and healthy spaces to keep control of the temperature and in a natural way, to have an efficient way of using energy and water, and to keep a high quality of the interior in environmental point of view. Carolina.
Y
Carolina, te está pidiendo, ay, se perdió el chat. Te estaban pidiendo, hay que mirar el chat porque te están haciendo preguntas en el chat acerca de la decoración de bambú, de las decoraciones en las paredes en bambú. No sé si quieras responder a todas las preguntas al final o que quieras hacer.
Pero digamos que sí, digamos que las preguntas las vamos a responder al final.
Okay,
por favor.
Carolina is informing that all questions, she'll be answering all your questions at the end of her presentation.
Bueno, en esta parte digo que para los proyectos es importante tener impacto y beneficios globales con el bambú. Esto quiere decir que nosotros hacemos construcciones saludables, que generamos empleo y oportunidades, que además lo más importante también de todo esto es dar a conocer nuestra cultura. Entonces eso es, digamos, como el resumen de lo que nosotros pretendemos con nuestros proyectos.
Okay. So her aim is to propose a new way of working with bamboo or with guadua. It's to have a positive, big impact in the communities and in a global way. So she proposing healthy and simple constructions in order to generate work opportunities and in order to give, to promote our culture outside Colombia. Carolina.
Algo de lo que nos llama muchísimo la atención es precisamente cómo se gasta poca energía para la construcción de estos proyectos. Entonces, el uso del bambú genera empleo desde su mismo corte hasta todo su proceso para llevar a la culminación una vivienda. Y esto la gente en nuestro país lo valora muchísimo.
Okay, so one of the important features of this material is that it uses a very low impact of energy. It saves a lot of energy, and as you may see in the images she's proposing, that it's giving a lot of works, a lot of jobs are created by these materials from the very moment it is planted to the moment it's cut and the treatment is made to have this material applied in construction. Carolina.
En estas fotos podemos ver el paisaje de lo que hace parte los guaduales, los diferentes rodales en donde están los guaduales y también cómo se va cortando, cómo se saca del sitio, cómo se elabora la esterilla de guadua hasta empezar a armar las estructuras de diferente manera dependiendo de las construcciones que se vayan a desarrollar.
Well, in these different pictures, Carolina is presenting you all the guadua since its plantation, the way it's used, the landscape, the way it's processed, the way it's cut, and the way it started to be linked as a material in like a handicraft use. It's very handmade, it uses a lot of hand and man work until the end of its use to construct all the structure of the houses and the projects she makes. Carolina.
Aquí seguimos viendo todo el proceso y las diferentes técnicas que manejamos. Trabajamos alambre y yute para muchas veces hacer paredes. Esto lo denominamos tendinoso o con esterilla de guadua.
Perdóname, aquí te interrumpo y de pronto me lo vuelves a repetir porque es que esas palabras no tienen traducción, ni el tendinoso, ni... So,
Pues decirlas en español.
see, okay. So this is a very important part of her job because she is using ancestrals, our ancestor in the native ancestor technique of construction. So it uses this raw material, but as well she uses like strings and jute, which is nature and natural. It's shown in the central pictures. It's like a textile made of a plant that's found in Colombia. And this, as you may see in the different pictures, there is a string that goes around the guadua or bamboo plant. Then in the second line, you'll see that this string is going from one side another. And then this material, which is a sort of a textile made of a plant called in Colombia jute, it is going to pass side by side to the by the string in order to create the wall, the base of a wall. It's a natural technique used in Colombia. Sigue Carolina explicándolo porque es que...
Sí, aquí tenemos ejemplo de la estructura de una de las viviendas desarrolladas totalmente en guadua, guadua rolliza y esterilla de guadua.
Okay, so this picture shows the way our native Indians used to employ the guadua material. The walls you see are constructed with a technique called esterilla. So the guadua is opened and then it's go side by side in order to create these sort of walls, which are the base for all the construction of the houses.
También aquí mostramos diferentes formas de explorar el material, la resistencia y la flexibilidad.
So here, this photo shows different ways of exploring the adaptability and flexibility of the material in order to create new forms and new structures. Its resistance, its flexibility, and all the features this material has.
Y aquí ya mostramos un ejemplo de un proyecto de 100 viviendas, un proyecto residencial turístico donde hay 100 viviendas y todo lo que mostramos anteriormente aquí ya está terminado.
Now, this picture, it's of a complex they made. It has 100 houses having either a residential or a tourist application for tourism. And this project was made based in all the techniques she showed in her previous photos.
Otra foto del proyecto en donde se muestran las vías y la diferente orientación de las viviendas para tener en cuenta soleación, ventilación y visuales.
So this is another photo of the complete complex in order to show to you the way it was conceived with the paths, the plan, because the orientation of the sun, the lightning, the wind, and all these techniques in order to save energy and to have as well a bioclimatic application. Sigue, Carolina.
Aquí vemos las diferentes características del proyecto en donde se buscó que tuviera una zona central como pulmón, zona de juegos, parques y toda la parte urbana se tuvo en cuenta la parte bioclimática.
Okay, so this is the main it shows the main concepts that were included in order to create this project. They wanted to have the central area as along, and they wanted to have sport areas. They wanted to have as well parks, as well fruit trees around the complex. They wanted to have multi-applications spaces at open spaces, and they wanted to develop areas for the flowers, for the complete vegetations, and for animals. Also, they wanted to have a conjunction played by the vegetation and the water that will contribute to give aeration to the complete area.
En estas imágenes mostramos cómo todas las construcciones que se desarrollaron al interior del proyecto fueron elaboradas con bambú, desde capillas, zona de juegos, los campamentos para guardar los materiales, el acceso, en fin, y las viviendas también.
So in this image, she shows the different sort of constructions that were made in the project that were all made in Guadua, such as the chapel, such as the houses, the entrance, the playing grounds areas, also the warehouses, and all they applied to all sites this material and different ways of having it in the design and in the construction. Sigue, Carolina.
Esta ya es la construcción terminada de todo lo que vimos desde el proceso anterior. Y aquí vemos, por ejemplo, como la carpintería, las persianas, la cubierta, las placas de entrepiso, todo es desarrollado a partir de bambú guado.
So this picture shows one of the houses at the finished project. So as you will see, the cover, the stairs, the doors, the windows, everything is made out of Guadua, having all these ancestor techniques applied, but in a modern way. So reinterpreting the background we have in Colombia.
Las maquetas explican el concepto bioclimático de la vivienda, en donde se trabajó el efecto chimenea, la curvatura de las cubiertas para protegerse del sol y el separar el área social del área privada por espacios abiertos para tener ventilación cruzada.
Carolina, esto es importante y van muchos conceptos, me lo vas diciendo pedacito por pedacito porque se me olvida.
Bueno, entonces, curvatura de cubiertas para protegerse del sol.
So in this maquettes, she's showing the different aspects she was prioritizing because she found they were very important. So la first one is the curve, o es la cobertura de cubierta, ¿cierto? The coverage curve in order to have a bioclimatic and to protect from the sunshine, the construction. Bueno, ahora sigue.
La ubicación de la piscina para refrescar porque es en un sitio muy cálido.
So as you may see, the swimming pool, it's a key factor because it will refresh the complete house, since the place where the project is located has always very important temperatures. It's a hot place. ¿Qué más sigue?
Efecto chimenea para ventilar la vivienda al interior. El aire caliente sube.
So it has a chimney, or would you say fireplace effect, so that it refreshes with the circulation the house at the interior.
Bueno, y yo creo que mostramos otros detalles ya en las fotos y a nivel interior, porque pues el tiempo es corto y no quiero tampoco como que se cansen.
Okay, so she says that she will just show another details because, well, the time is short and she doesn't want to have you tired about all her explanations. So, entonces, si quieres.
Sí, entonces aquí detalles de ventilación por medio de las persianas que se hacen con latas de guadua. Todo se hace de manera manual y artesanal.
Sí, so these are details of the ventilation, so that the air can go through the guadua tissue. It's completely handmade. It's really an artisanal work. It employs a lot of
artesanal.
Sí, a lot of handicraft work.
La vegetación también es muy importante en la parte paisajística y para refrescar los ambientes.
So vegetation is also very important in the landscape concept, but as well to refresh all the atmospheres, all the atmosphere.
El trabajo interior también es importante porque para mí los detalles deben ser especiales de acuerdo a los usuarios que van a habitar la vivienda.
So the interior work is very important as well for her, but it goes according to the different persons that are going to inhabit the house. So for each one of the, let's say, customers, she proposes different atmospheres and different applications. Carolina.
Ventanales grandes y dobles alturas también se utilizan en las viviendas.
So big windows and open spaces are used in the houses.
Y ya entramos a un segundo proyecto que es en clima frío. Y las características en esta construcción pues ya cambian muchísimo con respecto al proyecto anterior.
So this is a project made in another area of Colombia where there's not such a warm temperature, but it's in a cool place. So different design, different elements are used in order to keep some better temperature in the house. This is the first floor.
En este proyecto ya utilizo el efecto invernadero para buscar calentar la vivienda de manera natural.
So in this project, she uses the se me olvidó invernadero, the
efecto invernadero.
The effect de ¿cómo es el
efecto invernadero?
Efecto invernadero es greenhouse effect in order to keep warm the house. And this is the technique she uses to construct the walls. That's a technique inspired in our ancestors' works. So it as the image explains, it goes with strings and jute, which I said is a fabric made by natives in Colombia.
También utilizo piedra que hay en la región y la utilizo negra para captar más el calor. Y se hacen dentro de las paredes, se pone junco. Se puede decir junco porque eso es un material nuestro.
Pero el junco también es un material nuestro, eso no tiene. Well, in this photo you can appreciate she uses different sort of stones that is available.
Vicky.
Dice, no, es que hay una pregunta que están haciendo, que si en esta vivienda se utiliza alguna columna para hacer un reforzamiento de la estructura.
Se utilizan con guadua.
Okay.
Y en algunas partes, pero muy escasas, se utiliza alguna en concreto, pero creo que básicamente estas todas son en guadua.
Okay, well, we just asked about the question we had. So all the structure is made in guadua columns, and all the structures of the house were made in guadua. So the stones she proposes are of the area, and with the stones are used in order to apply or give some warmth to the house. And also another material, which is a native material as well of South America. It's very, very peculiar of Machu Picchu, and also very peculiar of the, ¿cómo es que se llama? The Titicaca Lake and all lakes in our area. It's called junco. It's junco. It's a plant that provides warm and it's very easy and manual to use. And for these sort of constructions, it's used because of the resistance it has and the maneuverability it has.
Aquí vemos diferentes formas de usar nuevamente el bambú. En rodajas, lo que sobra, yo lo utilizo para ventanas, barandas, ciertos entretejidos y cubiertas para jugar con luz y sombra.
Okay, so in these photos, you'll see that all the waste of the material is employed by her in order to create some decorative walls. You may see that you have little circles, little bamboo circles creating the walls. You have as well lamps. You have details of decoration in the different patterns.
Busco generar el menor desperdicio posible y tratar de aprovechar todos esos elementos que a veces pueden ser basura para otras personas, para generar lámparas, accesorios o elementos decorativos.
Yeah, I said she doesn't like to have waste. All the waste she has, she uses for decoration, for lamps, for walls, in order to create and apply it to the house, to the different parts of the house.
Esta es una de los detalles de la cubierta, en donde a pesar que es teja de barro plana y es a dos aguas, yo lo que busco es que sea de una manera curva para generar un espacio interior más agradable.
Well, this is some detail of the cover of the house. So she uses the native tale, Spanish tales, but she creates a covers in order to have a more simple and a more decorative proposal. Porque esto,
Sí,
okay.
quedó bien. Esta es otra imagen donde se muestran las diferentes formas de utilizar el bambú, ya sea para decorar como estructura o como espacio para generar un ambiente diferente interior.
Okay, so it's yet another picture showing all the different ways she proposes to use the bamboo in order to generate simple and very creative spaces, such either in the ceiling as in other decoration aspects. As well you may see all details made out of bamboo, guadua.
Voy a pasar rápidamente las imágenes porque me preocupa el tiempo y pues básicamente es para mostrar pues cómo se utiliza en los diferentes ambientes el bambú.
Okay, now she's going to pass lots of images because she's a little worried about the time left. So, but she wants to share with you all the different ways she uses guadua to create different atmospheres.
Aquí se muestra cómo se utilizó en barandas y pues nuevamente en placas, ventanas.
So here it shows it in a veranda, also in the ceiling, as well in the walls, in the in the windows and in all decorative details.
Aquí llama la atención la lámpara que también fue desarrollada con elementos sobrantes del proceso constructivo.
¿Qué cosa? No te entendí.
La lámpara.
¿La qué?
Llama la atención la lámpara que está en la mitad.
Ah, sí, sí. So there's a lamp, a detail of a lamp that comes out of the ceiling. It was made as well of waste of the process of the construction process. So it was used as.
Y voy a mostrarles un video desde que llega el bambú a la obra, cómo es el proceso constructivo.
Okay, so she shares this video in order to show to you the constructive process.
Es importante las uniones, cómo hacemos las cubiertas y los materiales que conjugamos diferentes técnicas.
So that she shows that shares the covers, the techniques, the finishings.
Bueno, preguntar si dejamos acá más información, pero me preocupa que hay otro, hay el arquitecto que sigue, entonces no quiero como afectar.
Están haciendo la pregunta de cuál es el material que se usa para el wall paneling, para el tendinoso, porque están, no sé si quieras mostrarle nuevamente el tendinoso, que pues eso es hecho, eso se hace, me dices, es de alambre, yute y mortero.
Ajá.
Yute
y mortero.
Sí. Well, for the wall for the paneling, it's a technique that's called tendinoso. It comes out of string. First thing they do is to pass string from left to right, and then afterwards they put a fabric made out of jute, which is native. This fabric is made out by our natives. It's a native fabric, and afterwards there is the mortar creating applied to it by hand, and then you get the wall, the finished wall.
Decirles que esta
¿Tú tienes una foto más detallada del tendinoso?
Sí, estaba aquí adelante. Aquí, este es el tendinoso. Y ahí se muestra el alambre, el yute y cómo va el mortero.
So this is the material employed for the wall. So as you see, they create a structure made out of guadua, that's the rectangle you see. And afterwards, the string is passed from one side to the other. Then the fabric called jute, which is made of South American plant, is passed and put in with the strings, and afterwards the mortar is applied so that you get the wall. That's basically a native Indian technique.
Vicky, preguntemos si seguimos o si ya pasamos rápidamente estas y pasamos a preguntas o qué hacemos. Estos son otros proyectos que estos ya son los presentes, los que se están haciendo actualmente. Y pues nada, este es el final. Es decir que para mí diseñar con bambú es un sueño, me permite soñar, me permite trabajar todo lo que mi mente quiere crear y llevar a la realidad, porque es un material flexible, liviano, económico, resistente, y que además me reta cada día a tratar de hacer nuevos diseños y descubrir nuevos elementos para crear nuevas cosas.
Well, finally, Carolina would like to say that she loves working with bamboo or with guadua because it's a material that allows her to have dreams, to create a lot of things, because it's a very, very flexible, light, and resistant, but as well it's let's say quite a cheap material in our country, and but in addition, it gives her the opportunity to learn a lot from the environment and from our local workers. It's a plant that provides her a lot of opportunities to create, to transform, and to allows her to see life in a different point of view, both from the social, the integration, the culture, and the creation. So I have not seen the chat yet in order to ask Carolina to respond to the different questions you have proposed. So I would like to see the chat. Está haciendo, espérate, estoy revisando el chat a ver si hay más preguntas. Aquí están diciendo que si puedes tomar preguntas, pero no veo. Hay una pregunta que dice que si la columna en el primer proyecto si es hecha de RCC, que es RCC, no sé, o si
no
contiene...
¿Ah? No sé qué es RCC.
There's a question made by SC where asking if the column in the first project appears to be made out of RCC. Is there, we don't know what's RCC. Can someone tell us in the chat what's RCC so that Carolina can answer the question? What RCC stands for?
Yeah, reinforced concrete.
Así es, de concreto reforzado.
En el primer proyecto,
me imagino que la casa de Dinastía del Sol fue lo primero que pusiste.
Sí. La casa de Dinastía del Sol, ahí, o sea, si ellos miran, está toda hecha en estructura. Miren, esta es la casa de Dinastía del Sol y no tiene columnas en concreto.
So
Esqueleto de la casa.
So no, response is that there's no RCC at all. It's all made out of guadua.
Miren, aquí está el esqueleto de la casa. Ese es el esqueleto de esta casa ya terminada. O sea,
So
esta
this
misma,
is the skeleton of the house. There's no RCC at all in the structure. All is made of guadua.
y terminada se ve así. O sea, yo lo que busco es que esa es la misma casa. Lo que busco es que no se sature de bambú la vista, sino que trato de generar un equilibrio ya en el acabado final.
Well,
A mí es un equilibrio.
well, that Carolina insists everything is made out of bamboo, but at the end, because of the design, she tries to propose a combination of finishing, so the walls are presented in another way, but everything is made out of bamboo.
¿Tendrán más preguntas?
Sí, tienen más en el chat, espérate. Espérate. Que si el ceiling, que si el techo está hecho con plaster o si lo haces de plaster. Plaster es con cemento, ¿verdad? O tú lo haces con tapia o con cemento.
Con cemento, pero también se puede hacer con tapia y encima va teja de barro plana.
Oh my goodness. Bueno, the ceiling can be made out of plastic. The finish can be made out of plaster, but there is another ancestral technique that's called tapia, and it's made out of ¿cómo se dice tierra? Of ahora no encuentro tierra, trágame. Of
arcilla, con arcilla, pero arcilla, para cómo se dice arcilla.
Arcilla.
Pues decirles que
such a type of sand found in sand and mud. It's a sort of sand and mud worked by hand. Ay, un momentico.
Okay. Yeah. So it's mud plaster, modified mud plaster. I understand.
Yeah, modified mud plaster.
Yeah. Great. And what is the flooring material for the roof slab?
Que si es un material que se puede, que para las inundaciones, ¿qué pasa con las inundaciones si se daña el material con el agua?
No, interiormente es con arcilla, pero afuera es en teja de barro, pero eso es cocido. La teja de barro es cocida en hornos.
Okay, so the mud tiles go into ovens, and so it's very dry and very resistant, and so the outside of the house, yes, it's made out of plaster, but in the inside finishing of the house, she is having tapia, which is the native material made out of mud. And it's handmade. So it's really applied by hand in the wall.
Es
No.
muy bueno, o sea, no le pasa nada. Es muy buena para las lluvias y con el sol no se raja, no le pasa nada.
It's very good. I mean, if for rain, it's very resistant to sun. It's very resistant to rain. To rain. It's very cheap, very sustainable. Because it's basically made out of mud, and it's completely handmade.
And ecology.
Por eso, very ecological.
Ajá.
Espérate a ver, es que hay más preguntas, espérate a ver, porque es que respondemos una y nos mandan otra. Espérate a ver.
Ay, me preocupa el tiempo. Preguntamos si hay tiempo para más preguntas.
Carolina is asking if it's okay to be answering more questions. If you have enough time, it's okay to keep going on.
Uday,
No
sir,
quiero afectar al otro expositor.
Hemant?
There are no questions, it seems, but at the same time, Carolina, your presentation and your verbal support was really very apt, and we understood. We really enjoyed your presentation. It was a wonderful presentation. You really took a dip into the ancestral knowledge and technology techniques our ancestors developed, and also listening to the dictates of the sustainable development. You try to show us as to how you have explored the versatility of the bamboo through your projects, and that too through the detailing. You have used it as an element of visual impression. You also used it as for all the functional needs, the temperature, humidity, shade, glare, etc. And it was a beautiful display. We really enjoyed. The language did not matter at all. But at the same time, I must congratulate your interpreter, who was also very well conversed with the vocabulary. And so we could interpret, we could understand the presentation. It was a lovely presentation. Carolina, we thank both of you for sharing your presentation and sharing your views. Thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Dice, te agradecen, si entendiste, te agradecen toda tu presentación, que es un trabajo hermoso, una grandiosa, hermorosa presentación, que pues están impresionados con tu trabajo, que les gusta mucho.
Muchísimas gracias. Fue un gran gusto poder compartir lo que desarrollamos aquí en Colombia. Y pues qué rico saber de todo, pues qué interesante saber de todos ustedes y del trabajo que hacen. Yo sigo a muchos en Facebook y también he visto los trabajos de varios, porque también hacen proyectos muy interesantes.
She wants to thank everybody, and it's been a pleasure and an honor of having the opportunity to explain and present her work to you, because she's also been very attracted and very interested for all your work and for the important projects you have done, and that she keeps consulting and updating herself in order to learn more about this construction technique.
And we take this opportunity to invite you to India. Please come down to India sometime, and also have a glimpse of the works done by the Indian architects in the bamboo sector. We invite you. So with this, once again, I thank Carolina and her partner for presentation. And now we move on to the next presentation. Our next speaker is Hemang Mistry.
Okay, Carolina, te agradecen, y para el nuevo ya Thank you so much to you, and I'm going to leave you. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Feliz
Muchos-
noche para todos. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Carolina. Muchas gracias, Victoria.
Muchas gracias. Un
Gracias.
placer.
Thank you, Carolina. Thank you, gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, yeah, bye.
Now we move on to the next presentation, and that is our own friend Hemang Mistry, who is a part of our team also. And he has been, he's an architect from Surat, and he did his master's in urban design from CEPT Ahmedabad. And ever since then, that is since last 15 years, he has been practicing architecture and urban design. Friends, let me tell you, Hemang, I know of, though a very, what do you call, very recent friendship we developed. However, I found Hemang to be a very passionate bamboo lover, bamboo enthusiast. He dreams bamboo, he dreams bamboo and tries to manifest his ideas and dreams into reality through the architecture and urban design projects he deals with. He in fact really wishes to shape the human life through the molding of bamboo in different scales, and that is what he dreams of. I would definitely love to he is now the boss of the Sthapatya Rachana, that is the name of his firm, and he practices architecture as well as bamboo architecture predominantly. And let us hear from him his ideas and how does he think to rebuild or rethink bamboo as a mainstream material and also bring it into culture through design. I would request Hemang to begin with the presentation. Thank you, Hemang.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gadkari sir, for the wonderful introduction. And thank you, Bamboo Society of India and Council of Architecture, to give an opportunity for me to present in front of everybody. And thank you, Carolina. It was a wonderful presentation by you. I think it gives us a different perspective of looking at bamboo and its material. So I would start with introducing how I got into bamboo, and I was never into bamboo 5 years back. And I think so I mostly practiced architecture, which was RCC, brickwork, more of a commercial architecture. Was so a drive towards this bamboo started coming with hospitality and urban projects. So for a sustainable future, I started exploring designs, and also the world of bamboo exploration is one of the now criteria which is really triggering me to work. And also seniors who has been associated working in bamboo in India and out of India, they are really inspiring as well. As a student, I always visualized, bamboo as a material to work with, but somehow I never got an opportunity as well. And I think dealing with this material was completely a different ball game, which everybody was not aware in the nearby area. Few of them worked, but I think they also struggled with the opportunity of working with bamboo. They started with a gazebo, they started with a small outhouse, and that was in a way not been visualized in a public scenario. So me being an urban designer, so this journey of dealing with bamboo started in 2018 when I was working for 2 beach developments in Diu, India. So where there were these infrastructure facilities to be built, and we had these CRZ rules, and we cannot construct with permanent materials, permanent techniques. So there was all this discussion how the things can be carried on. Metal structures were it needs a lot of treatment, and it has a lot of corrosion issues right on the beach. So they're always thinking, and I think we then and it was a beautiful journey with a lot of responsibility that turned ways of looking towards architecture. And I think as a student, always had an inspiration that turned to passion. So, a world of starting with sketches and trying to understand forms, shapes, dealing with bamboo, working with bamboo. And that's how we started coming on to how to get into this purity to deal with bamboo. Mattered me a lot with extreme engineering that made sketches to a strong structure. But how was that possible? So, working on the beach side was always a challenge, for me. Because nobody in the area worked with bamboo. Even the structure designers was not really equipped. They worked with metal structures, they worked with RCC, they worked with wood as well. But getting into this bamboo was really a hard way out. But I think with the support of the execution team, which was Sibat, and the structure designer, who's Nilesh Purani and Nilang Liu from LJ Purani, they started gaining confidence, and they started placing things, how bamboo can be dealt. So then the journey from intangible to tangible aspects started, getting into picture. So I've always stayed on a tropical place where the experience of height comes from the 10th floor on the beach side that has a panoramic view of 180 degree, brought this passion of dealing the beachside structures. I always had a dream that, what if the structures were built at height? What if the structures are large in structure, in the shape? How would that behave? And what would be the experience that, yeah. So with that, before targeting for larger ways of dealing with these structures, we started understanding how would be the joinery, how would be the clustering, what would be the system of dealing with bamboo, what are the diameters, how do we join bamboos to each other, what are the principles. So that were, hundreds of, ideas floating around, how to deal with this. So as an architectural office, we went to the execution team, we came back to office, we tried to understand, we started studying books, we started studying how seniors have worked to this. So after all this derivation, we started, preparing schematic sketches, schematic, way of understanding the joineries through 3Ds, through drawings. So there were a lot of background work that went into before we actually start getting practical to it on this side. So then, what if the cluster of 16 bamboos, they start placing the cluster of 3 bamboos, how the T joins, how the overlapping works. What if the structure is of 16 bamboo cluster? How would that behave? How heavy it would be to, pull that structure to a different height? So a lot of queries started happening, and I think there were great amount of efforts being put in by the office, by the architects working with us, and also the team, the craftsperson played an important role, for us to ignite the process. So likewise, the sketching was already into picture. We started visualizing how the bamboo structures, how the forms would be, how the surroundings would be. What if we started placing those structures on the barren side? How would landscape behave? You know, how would that complement to bamboo structure? How would that complement to the views around? So I think being an urban designer, always wanted to, you know, place bamboo at urban scale. You know, why urban scale? Because that's the very easy medium for people to visualize. You know, people can see these structures, you know, we can place these structures, you know, very well in urban scenario, you know, where we don't need permission to see these structures. You know, we started placing on the beachside park where eco-friendly approach was prime focus that enlarged the scope of visibility for tourists as well. So it was really new material for them also. People had queries with bamboo. Even the clients had queries. You know, what is the durability of the material? That's a very basic question which are facing to us. And how is the strength? How would that work? What if the cyclone comes? How would that behave with the foundation? So there were, you know, many queries. You know, since 5 years we've been working, but I think a year we really solved these issues. We solved these issues with the structure designers as well, and also the craftsmen. How would they work with each other? We worked on the clarity of joineries. So this is, I think, one of the outcomes of, you know, we started placing the bamboo as one of the roofing structures for a food stall. So this was, so the file is, okay. So the clarity, the geometry, placing of the roofings, the grids, the center over here, how would the joinery that would behave? How would the clustering happen? So we were, of course, 100% on the drawings to understand, and back and flow process was always the part of, you know, the journey, taking it to craftsmen, understanding them. Would they be able to do this or not? How would they do? What clarity that work? Because, you know, implementing any of these structures for us, clarity was very important. Joinery details were very important, you know, because that would showcase of how the quality of execution of the design is. You know, no matter how, you know, beautiful drawings we make, but if that is not executed on the site, you know, that would create a havoc also. Because the craftsperson was working on a different way of working, and we working on a very different notion. Graphics is really important. So in a way, how bamboo plays an important role to place the graphics as well with the bamboo structures was really important. And I think that clarity of understanding and placing the drawings, these schematic drawings, the 3Ds, the extruded views were really important for us before the execution happens. You know, because what happens is that, you know, the craftsperson, the contractors need to understand it really systematically before executing the structures. They also need to understand the process of construction as well. So we gave them all these views, you know, in front of them, and that made really easy for them to execute these structures in a better way. Now, I think of course, besides drawing, there were more joineries being placed, the more members being placed on the site itself. So there were these evolutionary process which started happening. You know, though these structures, this is a 6 diameter structure and a 9 meter height. So from the ground, it is almost 11 meters, 9, yeah. So this is how bamboo is a very good tensile material, but as well, it also has that compression to deal with. But of course, when dealing with these larger structures, the structure would become more of a flexible material. So we need more of these joineries, and these ropes helps them to get into compression. And of course, the rods, the metal rods, which has been binded at regular intervals, that really helps to, bamboo to join each other. Of course, there are a lot of other ways and means to, joining these bamboos with the clusters. But I think here the clarity, even dealing with 75 mm bamboo, 100 mm bamboo to 25 mm bamboo, and also due to the putty. So it is the putty is the strips which has been peeled out of cutting with the bamboo, and every sort of gradation of bamboo is being used here. And I think that clarity of the structures, the geometry was placed here. So that's how the view towards the sea. So we wanted to place a deck. This is more used with the tourists and as well as for the surveillance also from the height, even when the people are swimming or they're enjoying on the beach. So we made this structure more as a design oriented here. Of course, this beach was also developed by us. So we wanted to place that in a very similar language. So that this is how, the human scale it works. The water when during high tide comes till the top of the pedestal. So the column is being placed on the upside also. So here there's a view with our project manager as well. So the new trees being planted around that will become backdrop for the landscape and for these bamboo structures as well. Of course, there are these views which has been envisioned, and I think it's been properly placed, and the very important, the emotional perseverance, while watching from 6 meter high, 4 meter high to the sea, that really solves the purpose. I think the sand over here is also really complementing the color of the bamboo also. And that's how it really departs looking at the water as a very blue water. So then the huge envisioned structure with the dome here, really creates an envisioned view, a very enlarged view of this structure. And I think it looks really beautiful on the photo as well. But when you really visit that structure, the scale you visualize, the scale you place here, that really, steals the show for the bamboo. I think how beautifully you place bamboo really get onto these, vision of the structure. So even the detailings for the strips, the bit of transparency between this for the railing here is being kept. Okay, so that the light enters inside, and that's the play between the bamboo strip and the light. So also wanted to emphasize, how these staircase has been done and how the, the textures is being created here. And of course, that this is an open structure. So this is how the flooring is being done. This is a 25 mm bamboo, and how precisely it's been placed in very well placed and by overlappings also. Like you see the joint which are overlappings. So the other project on the other beach we did was on the Nagwa beach, that's in Diu, India. And that's how we started visualizing the sketch with, so these walls were local stones and been plastered with stone pebbles. So the idea was to get more on the eco-friendly materials. Yeah, of course, gradually the idea was being pursued and how the process started become easy. We started placing those materials in a way. So of course, landscape also played an important role, because if there is landscape behind, the bamboo structure will look more beautiful as well. So we had a challenge of placing these structures between the existing trees. The light colored trees are the existing ones, and the dark ones are the proposed trees. So even the the language of these structures, the entire profile was being envisioned in a way that it looks more near the water area. So when the open showers. So these sections were being prepared and with a view that, how it would envision, these curves being placed here, that really gets on with the light and air ventilation to the entire structure. Even the structures are open. There's an air ventilation system here, and there's also natural light which is coming here. So that becomes, that really helps the structure. So, that's how these are local Bela stones. The entire construction was done out of it. So that's how the detailing of the bamboo, the roofing structures, getting from the foundation to the roof, the roofing area. So I think it was being placed in a way that it's been really crafted well. I think besides design, the execution team plays an important role to, place. We had one curve, we had second curve, and banding. This arc had a third curve. So initially we wanted to play only with two planes, two curves, but now I think we have started exploring 3 to 4 types of, curves in a single structure. So yes, of course, this place was cyclone prone. High tides, it's very near to the sea. So high tides is one of the biggest issues. Water level comes down till here at this level. There were trees which we incorporated as part of our design, and this was then afterwards one cut in an oval shape and get to free the tree. So that's how the backside of the structure look like. So we faced around 220 km/h cyclone recently last year. So I think most of the structures were safe, and I think that's a good news for us. Good news for the bamboo enthusiasts as well, because this structure was one of the very strongest structure that could stand in the cyclone. We had high tides. We had during the cyclone 2 years back, we had heavy high tides where the structures were really that as a structure that really helped us to place this. So there were these detailings of the roofing and the cluster of the arch beams. So these arch beams were very strong and that were being tied at different intervals. So one thing we realized working with this bamboo, that cantilever is a challenge for working with bamboo. That really needs to be strong. And this phase of the bamboo becomes more of a flexible phase, a flexible area. So we really need to take care of the edge of the bamboo. Otherwise, till here, the structures are very strong. So this was a cluster of 9. This is how it's looking now. Between the trees, between the landscape and facing towards the sea. And that's, that's the way of, that's how it's been romantically placed on the beach side. So this is how nightlight behaves. We placed wall flushers on emphasized columns and the surface area also of the roof. That's how romanticism with the bamboo that started happening, and I think that's the love that's been reflected here. So that's the another type of structures. So this is around 12 feet by 12 feet, so around 4 meters by 4 meter structure, and the cyclone could not blow this off. And that was a really happy situation because, last year when we got a call from contractor that we may have to, take these structures, to carry these structures, 200 kilometers away from this place, because the wind is so heavy that our cars are also not able to stand there. And I think these structures, even the roofings, were really safe. So this was the photographs during the execution time, placing these structures. So this is one of the beachside structures. So yeah, so these are then the food stalls being completely placed as a food court area. So there are around 47 stalls, placed here. So then we started placing that in a very curvilinear form. And, we think that forms are really important when we deal with bamboo. Straight bamboos are straight, but it works really well when you band it also. Like this is the framework. This is one strong arch beam which has been placed. We wanted to place this as a cantilever structure, but then we started understanding the behavior, and from this point it started becoming flexible. So then we added this support just to hold the structure. But I think after adding this structure, this was completely safe, and it was 100% a pure a working structure there. I think it was really precisely also executed. This arch beam is sort of a truss which was being developed. So a lot of structural principles are really important to deal with bamboo, and that's how we are very closely working with structure designers, because they give us a really good a principle understanding towards it. Yeah, so that is how. And of course, this is majorly a composite structure in a way that we had RCC also being placed as a foundation for support. But now we are also trying to get into how do we do the foundation out of bamboo. So that's a new challenge for us. So this is how it's looking beside, and this is 100% working perfectly on the site. Now these are quite operational. It was being inaugurated, and fortunately we were very fortunate that President of India inaugurated last December this project, and I think that really gave a charm to this project, and I really respect. So this is how a food stall detailing has been done, and placing electrical points. So you cannot see any of these pipelines which has been going through. So these are being quite concealed in a way. And also there was a challenge to put these lights also. We don't want to hang it. There's a lot of wind around. So I think the electricians were also really supportive in terms of placing it so that the bamboo as a structure looks very clear. So this was during the execution time, how it was being coordinated. Yeah, of course, landscape lights, they really enhances the view of the bamboo as a structure. And of course, and then when this is placed in an urban scenario, it's been visioned by tourists, people coming from outside, and the words have been spreading so fast for this. And that's how the intention of placing bamboo as a material for architecture and urban and is really encompassing the idea. So after all, then we started. So these were the earlier structures. This was 4 meter by 4 meter. The earlier toilet structures were, I think it was the span of 8 meters. So then we got an opportunity to design a meditation hall out of 50 feet by 120 feet structure. So it was the span was very new to us. And I think we were in very tense situation until the first truss was placed. on the columns. So these are basically truss columns, and that is how the truss is being placed here. And this was in a way very successful. Of course, there were many corrections being done afterwards also. So this is how it was placed, one at a time, and then being joined horizontally as well. So after that, we started adding these as these structural elements. And I think, yeah, so this is how it's been framed again. But one thing we noticed that when we have these joineries, it becomes very difficult for structure to retain. If this structure could have a curve here, then this structure could have been very stable as well. So we as a firm, we believe that, dealing with bamboo structures, curves are really important. Banding is really important, because then it becomes a very unified structure. If this is one structure, then this becomes one unified element. This becomes one unified element. So that really helps the structure stability, to place as a scenario. So then there are these projects which are working on the resorts. So where parametric that came into picture, how do we place this? This is the reception area. This is the restaurant area. This is how the massing of the restaurant, the sections would behave in this way. So these are one of the proposals we're working on right now. So, yeah. So this is the restaurant. So then the entire notion of curves has started placing the entire building. And I think visually also this is really pleasing, and the energy that these buildings they float into people's mind is marvelous. Then we started going vertical as well. So let how the outhouses for one of the clients we are designing, and this is how the structure could start floating. So the interiors of somehow. So I think this is the design team, including structure designers, architects, and the senior draftsperson and the project managers working with us. Yes, and please feel free to discuss. And if you have any more queries, you can, of course, email me on my email ID. Yeah, if anybody has question, I'll be happy to answer.
There are quite a large number of chats which have come in on the chat box.
Okay, yeah, let's see to them.
Yeah. Can you read this thing among yourself, the chats?
Yes. Okay, so it says, I think Sanata startup. Yeah. So just wanted to know, like, where can we get 5mm, 10mm thing? Yeah, I think you have to contact the suppliers in Assam, and there are Goa also which have been available. And yes, so there's the other question by Purushottam. The question, what are the good variety grown and available? I think horticulturists are the best person to ask them. I only design and take, work with execution team. So they get sorted out all these type of bamboos. They're very experienced with it. Yes. Yeah, I think.
Hemang, there could be questions. I'm very sure. But what I would like to say here is that you really took us on a beautiful, nice journey. Your own journey you took,
Right.
and ventured into this particular field of bamboo architecture. Friends, it was really interesting to learn from Hemang as to how did you get into that, how did he understand the material, how did he interpret the things, and then learning the techniques, for example, which type of bamboo, what size of bamboo, which type of species of bamboo, how to tie them up together, how to bring them together, the heights, the bucklings, the the foundation, everything was an experiment for himself when he began, and he has really come out with beautiful solutions to the design issues which he dealt with. And he also showed us the few of the upcoming projects he is dealing presently.
Right.
With this, I'm sure that Hemang, you bear a potential to become a bamboo architect of tomorrow. We are very proud of you, and your these clippings and your these presentation videos really made us understand as to how keen you're always to learn the things by yourself, put them into experimentation, and try to battery running out low. Okay, anyway. So, friends, we are very happy and very indeed fortunate to listen to these two very distinguished speakers today. I'm sure that this was definitely a good treat to all of us in learning bamboo more and more. And with this, I'm sure that a day will come when all of us will talk the same language, we will talk the same word vocabularies, and we take up our this particular dream of bringing bamboo into the mainstream construction. And with this hope, with these views, I thank once again to all the participants, the officials from the headquarters, our own team members, and all those who really participated in this thing. Uh, Thanking you once again, and we wish that on the next third Saturday of the next month, May, we would come out with the same theme, rethinking bamboo in culture through design, and we will come with the engineering issues and engineering solutions, engineering design issues of bamboo. With this, I thank once again, and goodbye to you. Good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Gadkari sir. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all.